If you're loving this podcast, be sure to check out the full lineup. From news and local politics to sports and true crime. Find your next great listen right now at duluthnewstribune.com/podcasts. That's duluthnewstribune.com/podcasts.
Hello, Northlanders. It's Wednesday, March 29th. I'm Wyatt Buckner with the Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. Less than a year after opening with the help of more than a $2 million subsidy, the ownership of Lincoln Park Flats has announced plans to turn 24 of the building's 74 apartment units into a boutique hotel. Some local politicians are upset, particularly in light of a $2.35 million tax increment financing package they approved to support the project. Current tenants of the building's second floor have been notified and will have 60 days before they must relocate. P&R will continue to operate 23 apartment units at rates considered affordable for tenants earning no more than 80% of the area median income. Another 27 apartments will be offered for rent at market rates. Displaced residents will be offered the opportunity to relocate to other parts of the 4-story building or to move into other properties P&R operates in the area, including the Acadia, a 120-unit apartment building that is going up at 2601 Barton Avenue in Superior. In a letter to the Duluth City Council on Tuesday afternoon, Mayor Emily Larson wrote that though keeping the affordable housing component is a good thing, the changes are under legal review. She said she intends to work with the council on a policy, quote, to prevent this from happening again, end quote. A judge on Tuesday suspended criminal proceedings and ordered a mental health evaluation for the man accused of fatally bludgeoning a 77-year-old with a shovel and moose antler. A defense attorney said she is concerned Levi William Axtell, 27, poses a risk of harm to himself and others as he is held at the Lake County Jail for the March 8th killing of Lawrence Vincent Scully. Axtell allegedly turned himself in and confessed to entering the elderly victim's residence and striking him some 15 to 20 times with a spade-style shovel before he finished him off with the antler. He had years ago accused Scully of stalking his young daughter, but prosecutors said there was no apparent provocation leading up to this month's attack. Attorney Krista Groshek last week brought an unusual motion asking Judge Michael Kuzo to review Axtell's medical care and potentially furlough him to a, quote, secure mental health facility for evaluation and monitoring, end quote. While medical records are confidential, Kuzo indicated Axtell was recently seen at Lakeview Medical Clinic, and it was recommended that he continue receiving unspecified medication, as well as receiving a referral to a psychiatric nurse practitioner. Axtell previously sought a protective order against Scully, who he claimed had been trying to groom his 22-month-old daughter by hanging out near her daycare center and trying to talk to her. Scully was convicted of molesting a 6-year-old child in Kennebec County in 1979, and other protective orders had been sought against him in recent years alleging abuse and harassment. Axtell is charged with intentional second-degree murder, and his bail is set at $1 million. Kuzo scheduled a June 26 hearing to review the competency evaluation. For the first time since before the coronavirus pandemic, renewals for medical assistance and Minnesota Care will be due starting in July. Anyone who receives coverage must submit renewal paperwork in the upcoming year. The renewals will be due over a 12-month period, with individual due dates determined by original application month. St. Louis County Health and Human Services has started contacting people whose renewal is due in July by mailing a pre-renewal notice and will send the paperwork in April. But officials said the county doesn't have a current address for a significant number of the people on medical assistance in St. Louis County, with a number they know of potentially much lower than the actual amount. More than 55,000 people in St. Louis County will need to renew their coverage, about a quarter of the county's total population. Of those, about 11,000 have joined the program since April 2020, meaning they have never done the renewal process. A full directory of MNsure navigators and brokers can be accessed at mnsure.org/help/find-assister/find-navigator.jsp. Navigator assistance is free and available in person, virtually, or by phone. Now here's a look at your forecast, brought to you by the News Tribune's Northlandia podcast.
Today's weather forecast for the Duluth area, mostly sunny and chilly with a high temperature in the mid-20s. Northwest winds around 15 miles an hour most of the day with a few higher gusts into the 20s. Clear and cold tonight with temperatures approaching zero. It's probably going a little below zero away from the lake. And then Thursday will bring increasing clouds and a good bet for some snow developing Thursday afternoon, lasting into Friday morning. Looks like several inches is expected around our region. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to the Northlandia Podcast for their support. The weekly podcast explores curious and unique stories here in the Northland. Each episode celebrates the region's distinctive people, places, and history. In the latest episode of Northlandia, reporter Jimmy Lovren shows how a few feet of Wisconsin ended up on the Minnesota side of the St. Louis River. You can find that episode at duluthnewstribune.news or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Peter Passy, Tom Olson, and Laura Butterbrodt. Thank you for listening to Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.